Cameron, and this is Conduit. Happy Mother's Day. It is May 9, 2021. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. As I said last night, you were so very appreciated. I hope that you have had a special day. As I said, I am going to be checking in every day since receiving the vaccine and sharing different information with you. I can tell you slept pretty good last night, but I had a long day and a long night the night before. But I had no problem sleeping. Arms feeling good. It's not like, doesn't even feel like I had anything done to it. So, I'm glad to hear that. I know some people reported having soreness and some other symptoms, like post-workout or bee sting or all the different kind of examples. But I've had none of that so far. Today's been a great day. I haven't had any ill effects. I felt like myself and just kind of gone about my day. So I think that's pretty cool. I talked to my aunt today. Happy Mother's Day to my Aunt Colleen down in Virginia. And, she is a nurse. And she talked about her experience and told me to definitely hydrate very well before getting the second shot in 3 weeks. He said, a couple days before, you're going to want to really hydrate. She got pretty sick after, and she was sick for a few days. And then she was good after that. So, I will definitely take that advice and hydrate. I hate being sick. I'm quite the baby when I'm sick, so I ain't got time to be getting sick. So I will definitely take that advice from my auntie. But so far, so good. Also, want to give a shout out to everyone that's watching and participating. One of my old co-workers at OC. Shout out to Chris Nelson. Advised me to check out this new app that can help me track the vaccine. And so it's called VSafe. And so I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute, so you've got an idea. But it's vsafe.cdc.gov, and so you can kind of track your symptoms. I haven't put in my daily track for today. I was going to do it on air so you can kind of see what that looks like. Creating the profile literally took me a couple of seconds. It's your name, your birth date, and your zip code, and which vaccine you received. So, super, super easy, super fast, and you can track it through your phone. I signed up through my computer, but I added it on my phone also, but I've got it on the computer so you can see it. So I think that's important. So I thought that was great because that would, one, give me a reminder to do it. And then when I come on and I vlog about it, then I've got that kind of documented history. And I think that's also helpful for, as we're tracking, more and more folks getting the vaccine, if they are entering in their symptoms or how they're feeling, we can get a more accurate assessment of, what the side effects are of the vaccine. And then over time, hopefully, what are the long-term effects if it can capture that kind of data. So I think it's pretty helpful. So anyway, yesterday was the Super Vaccination Health Fair at the Marvin Williams Center. As I said before, it was a fantastic event. And I told you I would show you a few clips from that going forward. And so today I just wanted to play a few minutes from the doctors that were actually there on the panel. And so, we don't often have access to resources, and to have access to these four Black physicians is just really powerful, and then I actually was able to talk to Dr. Lillian, face to face after. So, literally they were very open. You can ask them whatever. They answered questions in a very candid way. And so to me, I think that's really powerful and helpful when you're trying to, make these decisions or share information with other people. Let's go in and just kind of listen to what they were saying here for a few minutes.
Sometimes folks in those categories may not have the full benefit of vaccination. So we want to make sure that we're keeping the people around us safe. And being vaccinated is one of the ways that we can do that.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Anything comes to mind as we talk? Any questions? Before we leave, we're just going to talk just a few minutes. I know a lot of people are wondering, will we have to get boosters every year? And is this, one Johnson and Johnson is done, or is this something we're going to expect to do for the future years? So, Dr. John Vassell, can you talk to us about what we can expect in terms of future vaccination? And is this the state the country is in now with vaccinating every year?
Black doctors, y'all.
Great,
I'm just
thanks.
saying.
Now you notice I can take off my mask because we're all vaccinated, and I'm more than 6 feet from people. So under those circumstances, you can do that, right? So before I talk about that boosters, tomorrow's Mother's Day. What can you do tomorrow for Mother's Day? As I mentioned before, since you just got your shot today, you're not immune yet. It's going to be another couple of weeks before you can feel comfortable that you're immune. So tomorrow, if you're gathering on a day like this, if the weather stays like this, you can still have something outdoors, socially distanced. If you're getting close to people, you still have to put on a mask. But you can take off your mask to eat. You can take off your mask outside as long as you're 6 feet away. So you can do that. If you're having something indoors, since you're not fully immune yet, you're still going to have your mask on. You can take it off when you're eating, but again, you're going to have to socially distance. Okay, so those are some of the things you can do tomorrow. But unfortunately, it's going to be a couple weeks before you can feel real comfortable that you're not going to get infected. Okay, and then of course it'll be 2 weeks after your second shot before you can feel for the long term that you're going to be fully vaccinated. Now, what about boosters? We don't really know yet what the long term is going to be. Right now, it looks as though, and the reason is because this is really pretty new. The only way we know how long a vaccine lasts is to give somebody a vaccine and see how long it lasts. And we've only been giving these vaccines for the last year, max. So we won't know for another year if people who have been given this vaccine are still immune 2 years from now. We'd have to wait 2 years to find out. But right now, based on what we can tell from examining the blood and seeing what the level of antibodies people have, these vaccines will last for at least 6 months, probably a year. Now, there are variants of the COVID virus. What does that mean? That means that from the original one that started in Wuhan, China, things have changed, and the virus has modified itself. It has mutated, and there are different strains. There's a UK strain. There's a South African strain. There are all these other strains variants that you've heard of. A variant is a slight difference between the viruses, but it's not a big enough difference that they're not responsive to the vaccine. So as long as it's still a variant, this vaccine will protect you. It becomes a strain when it mutates to the point where where your immune system no longer recognizes it, and so the vaccine is ineffective. We don't have different strains yet. Right now, we just have variants. So the vaccine is effective against all of them. So we'll know in about another 6 months whether or not we need a booster. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Vassell. Well, if you
Black
have any
doctor.
questions, we'll just see one more time if
awesome.
anybody has any questions.
All right, so as you can see there, a lot of good information. And one of the things that really made me, or my concern, pre-vaccination, was the variants, right? And you've heard me talk about this on other podcasts. And listening to the UK strain and the United States strains and all these different strains or variants, right? Want to use the right vocabulary. And my concern is okay, so I get the vaccine, and then you got folks traveling all over the place, and then bringing it in, and this thing is changing and whatnot. And is the vaccine going to keep me safe from these variants? And so that was really comforting for me to hear, because I'm definitely worried about that, right? Folks are traveling all throughout the country, in and out of the country, and it doesn't look like they're really going to, the direction we're going is to continue to open things up. And so if that's the case, right, these variants are probably going to continue to exist and change over time. And so I did want to make sure, it's like, look, man, if I take this vaccine, am I going to be protected from just the original variant, or am I going to be protected from all these variants? And so being protected from all the variants made me feel, a lot more comfortable with taking the vaccine and the, kind of the outlook, post vaccination. So I'm excited about that. Now, if it continues to mutate and it changes into something else, then it won't be effective against that, right? And so the concern is, and what's important is that folks are vaccinated. I don't know if we'll ever hit herd immunity. I don't even know if that's possible. But it's important that we're all vaccinated in order for this thing not to go out of control and turn into something else that isn't, that the vaccine won't work against. My fear, I will say, is the way the world is operating, and folks kind of having their different viewpoints on it, and the way we responded to this pandemic. If it mutates, if there's the next pandemic that's just something totally different from COVID, and the way that we respond, is this going to be, I mean, how bad could it get? I mean, it could be really, really, really bad. So I'm definitely concerned about that. Just looking at the actions of American citizens and folks globally. So that's definitely a concern. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was good to see the doctors, there and accessible, being able to ask questions and talk to them. I definitely pumped for that. I believe they may be there again in 3 weeks when they do the Moderna. I wasn't quite sure on that. As soon as I have that answer, I will share that with you, because I think that's also important. Because if you're going to come and get the first dose during the second dose, and you can have access and ask those questions if you've been thinking about it over the next 2 or 3 weeks, then having that accessibility, I think, would be important. So, I will definitely try to get that answer for you and then go from there. But let's go and check in with Dr. Lillian, because there were a few questions that the audience had, as far as what does the vaccine do in regards to, of course, people call me when I'm online. That's how it goes, right? In regards to allergies and things of that nature. So let's check back in and have that conversation. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So Drayton Jackson, he's asking about allergies to penicillin and those with asthma in terms of getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So this is Dr. Lillian, everyone, if you don't know. So really awesome.
Well, you gotta let them see my pink and green.
The pink and green? All right. Oh, AK. There we go.
Well,
get it right now.
Today is our day for big vaccination. We're doing two things. We're doing the Moderna vaccine, and we're doing the J&J vaccination. And what we're learning and what we're doing here, we're not only giving the vaccine. This is a community day of health where we're bringing the community together to talk about diseases, managed diseases, even beyond COVID. Hypertension, diabetes, importance of exercise, good nutrition. So all that's going on too. But as your question states about the risk of penicillin allergies and penicillin, just common community allergies, that is no there is no need for you to not get the vaccine because of those.
Okay.
They work a totally different way.
Gotcha.
The mechanism of action for how this vaccine works, it doesn't even interfere with your immune system, your allergy systems that way. So people that have allergies, people that have seasonal allergies, allergic to penicillin, it's not a penicillin, it's not an antibiotic, it's an antiviral message to
Gotcha.
tell the cells in your body to make something like the spike protein, which is how the virus attaches to your skin. So it works a totally different way. I feel very comfortable saying if you have a seasonal allergy or if you have allergic to penicillin, this vaccine can still be for you. Okay?
And so that's really important. Do you happen to know the efficacy percentages on the Moderna and the J&J?
I believe the Moderna and and Pfizer were both 94, 95%. I believe the efficacy of the J&J was about 85%. But that's even more than what it is for the flu vaccine.
Oh,
The
really?
flu vaccine is usually about 45 to 50.
Oh, that's big, guys.
So we're still in good shape with J&J. It's still very efficacious, it's still very effective, and it's still very necessary. It's a good option for people that just want one shot and may not want to be bothered with getting the second one.
So I was going to do the one shot, then they pulled it,
Yeah.
which made me all nervous again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I should just do the Moderna. And then it came back. I didn't know it was here today. And I was like, oh, I should go ahead and get it. But I'm like, if I get the highest percentage, it's not a hardship to come back here in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
again, we are providing free transportation. So if you need a ride, we will bring you down here.
Gather together, grow together is providing transportation. If you need a ride to come and get a vaccine, or if you're here and somebody dropped you off and you need a ride home, gather together and grow together is here, partnering with us for this huge community effort for the Day of Community Health. And thank you so much for stopping by and getting your vaccine.
I really appreciate that. And that's even if you want information. You just want to learn more. You had 4 doctors. Open conversation. I can walk up and ask a question. How powerful is that? The access is truly tremendous. So if you're worried and you have questions, come on down. We'll pick you up, bring you down. There's a food truck out here. You got Olympic College. I mean, good things are happening.
We got all kinds of booths and health booths and Olympic College staff. Doctors are here, so the paramedics are here. We even had the fire truck out here.
Oh, yeah, I saw the fire truck. Well, thank you, Dr. Lillian. I appreciate that.
Thank you for partnering with us.
Absolutely.
I look forward to doing more community service.
Oh, man, I love it. I'm just so glad to see, the community centers going
we're
and
excited
working.
about the 3-on-3, so keep me posted. We're going to make that happen.
Okay. Oh, I appreciate that. All right. So, you heard it there from Dr. Lillian. Again, that accessibility to the doctors is so very powerful. So, again, shout out to the Marvin Williams Center and all the folks that made yesterday's event a success. Again, we will be providing transportation here in 3 weeks to bring people back to get the Moderna. If they are going to have some sort of a fair or things like that, on that day, I will find out and I will share that information with you because I'm not quite sure on that yet. But man, just really good stuff. And I have allergies, and so my allergies get pretty bad actually during the spring as things kind of change over. So I've got my Flonase, and sometimes you've seen me do it when I do a late night podcast. It's like I'm all stuffy. I'm trying to clear myself up. So you guys have seen that. But then I also take my Zyrtec because man, these allergies are wicked, man. I tell you. So. But that is important. And I don't have any allergies to or issues with penicillin, but that's a really good question, right? And so those are the types of questions that you can ask because where else do you get that information from, right? And I should show you. Let me see if I can show you this on here. There was a couple comments this morning, and some folks asked me some questions about why I had, what made me decide to get the vaccine. And if I could get here to the comments, they're always kind of strange when I'm looking at comments on Facebook and I click onto them. Oh, they're down here. There's quite a few comments. All right, let me try to get down here. Let's see. Sunday shot. people. All right. Oh, actually, it wasn't even on this post here. So let me go back. It was on an early one. Oh, shout out to Dr. Hall. Always appreciate her support. This is from Chris Henry. Thank you for documenting your vaccine experience. Rose Smith and registration has your sticker. Next time we'll bring lollipops. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna be looking for my lollipop. Uh, Christopher Nelson, he had the Moderna 2. The first shot gave me the chills. 12 hours post shot lasted a day. So I'm past 12 hours now. I'm actually, 24, about 30 hours, a little bit more than 30 hours past. And like I said, I'm feeling great, feel fantastic. But again, it's good for everyone to be able to understand and hear about other people's symptoms, what to look out for, right? You may be feeling something and you're not sure. You're like, oh man, am I feeling something? Am I feeling this? Is this from the vaccine? Did anyone else feel that way? So sharing that information out is tremendously important, right? And so, as I said, shout out to Christopher because he's the one that suggested the VSafe website to do a daily tracker, which we're going to go to next here in a second. And then Brother Daryl Riley asked me what made me change my mind. And so for me, I told him this. I said, I suffer from sarcoidosis, obesity, hypertension, high blood pressure, and of course my daughter. Those are the really the main factors uh, that made me change my mind and say, you know what, I need to go ahead and get this vaccine. But also, my own analysis of information. Um, I like to say that, uh, I have the power of discernment and the power to try to reduce some of my own biases as I consume information. I try not to stay in an echo chamber, so I try to consume information from various different sources, even sources that are against however I'm thinking, and I try to go into it with an open mind and then also try to look for reputable sources. But even in that, I'm trying to dig through for what the truth is, and not my truth but the truth, and not necessarily their truth but the truth. And so one thing where you might see that is you go to Amazon and you're looking at reviews, right? And so you have to be careful when you're looking at reviews when you're trying to buy a product or a service. If the review is just super high, oh my gosh, this product, this service was awesome. It was, the best thing since sliced bread. This changed my life. You can't live without it. Well, there's a lot of hyperbole there, right? So how much can you believe a review that is that glowing, right? That doesn't say, it was just that perfect. There were no issues that you wish, maybe they had done better, or this might have been average or whatnot. It's just that ridiculous. And not to say that it couldn't be, but typically when you see that, that they may just be, putting a little extra on it, right? Pouring a little too much mustard on their hot dog there. But then the other side can be true too, right? And this is the worst product. This is the worst service. I would never use these people again. I've never had an experience, this bad, this product. I'd give it, if it was a -4, I would give it a -4 out of 4. That also can be met with hyperbole and exaggeration. And you want to look for the reasons why. Is this emotional, or was the product defective? Was the person on the other line rude? What about the quality? You want people to kind of talk about the detail in a way where it's useful information, right? So I'm not saying don't read the outliers on the top and the bottom, but you're gonna end up finding probably your best information somewhere in the middle, where people have more of a balanced response on judging that product or service that they're receiving, right? So hey, this shirt that I'm wearing, the shirt was really great. The texture's okay. I can say that the collar wasn't the best, for my neck. That was all right, but the fit was great. I've had it for a week now, and The coloring has stood up to a few washes, so I feel pretty good about it. So you kind of have this balanced review, and yes, I'd absolutely recommend this, and I would buy this product again. I'm going to probably listen to that review more than oh my goodness, you have no idea, this is the best shirt that I've ever owned. If I could wear this shirt every day of my life, I wouldn't wear another shirt. I just can't tell you, right? You buy this shirt, it's going to change your life. Or man, I bought this shirt and it basically, I pulled one thread and it fell off my body, and this is the worst shirt. I put it in the wash and it shrunk, and now it's a tank top. I've got to use it to wash my car. I wouldn't even use this to dry my dog off, right? I mean, that's it's pretty extreme on both sides. So you want to look at something in the middle. And so, going back to my analysis and how I came to the decision to get the vaccine was looking at all of that information, right? And I even took in some of the less credible sites because I wanted to hear what they had to say, and then see if there was any truth in what some of the craziness was saying. Because there's a saying. It's like I don't know if there's a saying, but something along the lines of you feel like you're going crazy, and everyone else in the world is, or you feel like you're the only sane one and everyone else is crazy, but you end up being right. You could feel that way, and so I also wanted to investigate what some of the outliers were saying to see, okay, is this consistent? Is this actually true in the more credible places that I'm analyzing data and research? And so, with all those things together, and then looking at other people that I knew that got the vaccine, right? And saying, okay, I don't care about the president getting vaccinated. I don't know the president. I don't necessarily believe that the president, either side, has my best interests at heart. So, that's not going to sway me or influence me left or right, even if I watch him get the shot. But a friend, someone that I grew up with or someone that I have a close relationship with, and we talked about the value of friendships in our interviews, right? Listening to why they got the vaccine is very powerful for me, right? Because I trust them, and I don't call people a friend just off the cuff, right? You have to a friendship is earned, and it's you know it develops and it grows and blossoms over time, right? And so if I value your opinion and your thought, and you're articulating that to me, I'm going to take that into consideration, right? And so, with my friends, with acquaintances that I have, professionals that I know, having access to a lot of different professionals in different fields, that I, have faith in what it is they do and how they do their work. I think that they're honest and upright folks and wouldn't be giving me, bad information. Folks that I don't believe are going along to get along. And ultimately people that are able to diminish their bias. And what I meant by that, when I use that phrase, I'm pretty sure, yeah, diminish bias, which is this, right? I can tell you what I prefer, right? I could tell you how I think about something, but I'm going to tell you how I think about it based on my perspective, right? And so that's my perspective. I decided to take the vaccine because I have a bunch of underlying health conditions. But if I'm talking to a healthy friend, well, that's not going to be a rational reason for them to get the vaccine. So I need to be able to suspend my bias and say, okay, well, I can share with you, yes, I got the vaccine for this reason, but these are the other reasons why I got the vaccine that may be relevant to you, that isn't kind of biasing my decision, right? I can kind of put some of that to the side. Talking to professionals, talking with friends, having those conversations and encouraging them to do that also, right? Not just saying, hey, well, you know what? I've got these health issues, and even though you don't have them, you just need to do it because, health, because I don't think that ends up being helpful. And you probably can point to lots of examples, even in regards to the vaccine, but where you've talked to someone and their biases weren't diminished, right? That happens a lot of times with the movies. And so I never take anyone's word for a movie. You could tell me you hate the movie, I'm still going to see it. And so that happens, right? Like, man, I hated it. I just didn't like that movie. It was horrible. Man, I love that movie. That was great. You're gonna love it. And you'll go, and sometimes they may be right, but other times you're like, you like that movie? That movie was horrible. That was bad. What are you talking about? You know, thinking shout out to Sam, going to movies on my birthday. He took me to see I Frankenstein, and I actually enjoyed it, right? And he was like, man, that was horrible. But if we had seen it independently, he would have told me that was a horrible movie, right? And so if I just, took him at his word on that and just said, yeah, okay, then maybe I don't go, or I go in with the same kind of bias that he has, that it was horrible. So, you know, he could have said to me, you know what, I didn't care for the movie, but knowing you and the type of movies that you like, you're probably going to enjoy it, right? And so now that would be, more of a less diminished opinion, right? Kind of you're stating how I know what you feel. I know, the type of movies you like and the quality of movies you like, but you also know me, and you know how I feel about it. So that happens a lot, right? And that's the same thing with acquaintances and friends, right? Hey, I wouldn't work with that guy because this, or I don't know why I'm not friends with this person because that, and that may be your experience, but that may not be my experience, and so I've got to kind of make that judgment for myself, meeting the person, right? Because there's a lot of factors on why your relationship is the way that it is, and that may not ever come into play with me and that person, right? So just always things to think about. And I've seen a lot of folks, kind of go through that, where they have taken someone's word on a person, and I've seen it both ways. So I've seen it where, hey man, this person is this that, you need to watch out, and well, it's true. You do need to watch out and kind of treat them with a long handled spoon. But I've also seen, and I would say more often than not, because if you have a good power of discernment, you're going to be selective on how far you let folks kind of get into your life. Um, you kind of make that determination on your own, right? And so I've seen a lot of times where folks have listened to someone and wouldn't engage with a person, and then months or even years later they engage with that person, and it was like, oh man, they're nothing like what you said. You're this, you're that, and oh man, I wish I had got with you earlier, because I just, folks were just saying that it was, this is how you were. Like I said, I've seen it both ways, and so bias can be a, positive or a negative depending on how it goes. So I encourage you, to do your research. I hope that this can be another source for you, not the only source by far, but just one source, that if you have any trust or faith in me, that you can add that into your analysis and your research and make a more informed decision on what to do for what's best for you and your family. And so that's really the whole point of that. So as I said, I hope that is helpful. But let's go ahead and check out the daily check-in. Okay, so I've already taken the liberty to sign in, as I said, and again, shout out to Christopher Nelson for this. This is VSafe, and this is from the CDC. And so I've already signed up. So I literally just clicked on the link, which I put in the description for you. And let me go ahead and put it here in the chat also. So you can go ahead and go ahead and click the link once you have received the vaccination. Again, it just asks for your first, your last name, your birth date, your zip code, what vaccine you got, and what day you received the vaccine. And then after that, you're just going to do a daily check-in. So I'm going to go ahead and do this check-in with you. Please enter the 6-digit code below to access your account. I guess I need a new code because it took too long. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get a code. So we'll wait for that to come through. Send me the code again, please. Oh, might help if I was not in do not disturb in airplane mode. So let me go ahead and turn that off. So I'm getting better at using my phone and having it not ring when I'm on the podcast, because undoubtedly it does that. I put it on do not disturb and it still rang. So I don't even know what to say about that. So I just said I'm getting better, and then it rang anyway. Oh man, crazy. All right, here we go. All right, so my code now is 207842. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to my health check-in. Start check-in. How am I feeling today? Oh man, I'm all green. They need something better than green. Have you had a fever or felt feverish today? I don't have a thermometer, but I don't feel feverish. Have you had any of the symptoms today where you got the injection? Pain, redness, swelling, itching, or none? I have had none. I mean, even when I tap my shoulder, I can barely feel where it went in, but not a problem. Have you experienced any of these symptoms today? Chills, headache, joint pain, muscle or body aches, fatigue, tiredness, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, rash, not including the immediate area around the injection site, or none? You can also add any symptoms or health conditions you want to report. And again, I think this is really important to create that database of symptoms so people can be more informed, right? So the CDC, so our medical professionals and that industry can have the latest and greatest as we go forward. Health impact. Did any of the symptoms or health conditions you reported today cause you to be unable to work, be unable to do your normal activities, get care from a doctor or other healthcare professional, or none of the above? I'm going to do none of the above and none here. What is your race? I am non-Hispanic or Latino. I do not mind saying what I am. And my ethnic group. And then I don't mind saying my race. I'm Black African American. Submit. Thanks for completing today's check-in. That's it. So, pretty easy. As you can see, again, that's a typo. This is 1993, guys. Just FYI. Let me get off of there. But that's it. And so that's simple. So that allows me to kind of track it. It allows me to share that information with you. Hopefully you found that helpful. I will come on daily and share this information. I will be back on. I'll probably do a little bit of a late night show. And there's so much to talk about. Man, I'm falling behind too. There's news that I want to share that I'm holding on to, trying not to explode. I'm trying to be patient. I'm doing my best to be patient. It's hard. You got a secret and you can't tell anyone. It's coming out soon. I'm hoping that the secret will come out Tuesday, Wednesday at the worst. But I hope it'd be tomorrow. But I'm gonna shoot for Tuesday. But I do hope Wednesday I'll be able to share the information. Definitely excited. Good things are happening. We are tremendously busy. So until later on, I am R1 Cameron. This is the Conduit, and I will see you next time.
1, 2, 3.